Okay, you could probably guess what we're going to review today because you're staring right at it. It's the Game Boy Color. It was the first Game Boy with a color screen, hence the name Game Boy Color. I don't have a game in it right now, but I'll fix that. Okay. The game that I'm playing, since you ask, is Mega Man Extreme. Cartridge goes in here. It's like a little slot in the back here. And here's the game. Here's the boy. Game Boy. Ding! I always like that little ding that it made when it started up. Continue. File 1. I've gone pretty far. I don't know what. Did I beat everything except for that guy? Yeah. I actually got further than this, but my stupid cartridge lost its game save files or something. I don't know what happened. Maybe some guy erased it, or maybe someone erased it somehow or something. It's like, sometimes I let, like, other people, like, play my games. I can't really proceed to play now because I'm holding the camera, and I don't have, like, a way of... So, yeah, I can't really play very well with one hand, but you kind of get the point. It's Mega Man. Unless you've been living under a rock, you at least know how it plays, and I'm not really going to focus on the game that much. Here, you can listen to the music track for a little. So, it's basically the same controls as you know, the original Game Boy. Only the select button is actually the pause button in this game. Start button actually does nothing. Usually it's the other way around. Where the start button pauses the game and the select button doesn't do anything. However, okay, I'm gonna go more over the layout of the whole game console, and I'm gonna turn it off now. And bye bye, Mega Man. Here's a volume scroller, extension port. That's where you can plug in a link cable or a worm light because, well, unfortunately, the screen is not backlit. See, it's not lit. It would have been obviously much better if it were backlit, but still, even with that little drawback, I mean, it's just like a $5 light or something. So, and you could probably just tape a book light to it or buy a worm light. Either way, it wouldn't really make much of a difference, at least in my opinion. Of course, a backlit screen would be evenly lit, but still. Also, we have a little hole here, something which I have never understood the purpose of this. I don't know, maybe you could put a strap or a clip or something in it or something, but it didn't come with a strap, as far as I recall. Now, the Game Boy Color actually had infrared communication. I don't think the original Game Boy or the Game Boy Pocket had this. I think there were some games that, well, I think there were like a few games. I don't think there were a lot, but some games I think allowed you to beam things between each other. I don't know, like trading cards or something like that. I have no idea what the COM port was used for, and I really don't think it. I don't think the idea of infrared communication with handheld game consoles ever caught on, because they dropped it in the very next console in the series, that being the Game Boy Advance. Like, from one generation to the next, they immediately threw away the COM port, so it must not have So I guess the idea didn't catch on. And here's your power switch. Quite simple, you just turn it on and off. Game Boy Color runs on 2 AA batteries, which actually last a pretty long time because, well, probably because the screen isn't lit, but still, I think I don't see how that. I don't think it would have shortened battery life by that much, because even when you had a warm light, it lasted pretty long. So, and give her speaker here. It's relatively quiet, especially compared to the Game Boy Advance. I think, if you ask me, the Game Boy Advance is quite a bit louder. But and you see the Nintendo stamp here, so this thing is actually, from the way it looks, you'd never guess how many times I've had like mishaps with it. I mean, one time I was walking off the bus with this thing in one hand, because I had the game, like, I was like in the middle of a game or something, and I didn't want to lose it, so I was getting off the bus, and I fell off the bus, while I was getting off, which caused me to drop my Game Boy on the cement, but both the game and the Game Boy came out of that unscathed. Well, mostly unscathed. I think I think they got a little ding in there. I don't know. Still, it's pretty durable. What I've come to expect from Nintendo nowadays, and what I've come not to expect from the PSP, because, well, it's more like a POS. So, in conclusion, Game Boy Color was a pretty good game console. The graphics aren't exactly great by today's standards, but then again, Nintendo's handhelds have never been good graphics, especially compared to their home consoles of that generation, because Nintendo kind of focuses on the fun side of things. They're not like trying to make their things cutting edge. They just want it to be fun to play. Much like the DS, it's not like super high-powered graphics like Sony did with their PSP. It's just basically Nintendo 64 processing power and graphics, except it has a touchscreen. So, yeah, but I think Nintendo portables are pretty good consoles, and in fact, if I had to do it all over again, I would have gotten the Game Boy DS instead of a PSP, because it's really not, trust me, the PSP, if you ask me, is really not that great. So I guess we can say goodbye.